Welcome back, everybody, to the Heroes of the Storm Nexus Games Europe Edition. And next on the menu, we've got a very special best of three coming right at you. It is Team Hungary versus Team Belgium. And boy, those are those teams. They need a win. If Team Hungary gets a 2-0 or a 2-1, they are qualified to the next stage, to the playoff stage. Belgium, they need to fight for tournament survival. Once again, it is really hard to make it a winner, though, because both teams have shown great moments of brilliance, but also both teams have shown not so good moments, right?
Yep, both teams very solid, but on the odd occasion flawed, as we have seen throughout most of these games. Team Belgium, for example, looking relatively solid in some of the team fights against Team Germany, the current group leader, but would lose in terms of map control and map pressure.
Yeah, and Hungary, they looked so impressive on day 2, I believe, or day 1.
1 or 2.
But against Germany, they just kind of fell over.
Yeah, and Germany continues to be this big unknown factor. Nobody really knows how strong they are right now, because whenever we saw them play, instead of going standard, they like to do something wonky, to say the least. But these teams, they also have their own trademarks. I just want to mention Belgium here, relying on Nazebo like hardly any other team here in this tournament.
Like no other team at this tournament. We have not seen another Nazebo at all. This is just a huge preference that we do see from Team Belgium, but it also, they do have some of those sleeper picks with a little bit of a Kerrigan potentially that we've seen used and banned by and against them.
Yeah, absolutely true. And as we can tell, Belgium very much relies on the battleground. Nazebo and Kerrigan both are kind of dependent on what the battleground offers to them. And without further ado, we're going to take a look at map bans and picks to determine, or maybe even get a clue of what Belgium could basically come up with here. We see Dragonshire being out of the mix. It's normally a good Nazebo map, isn't it?
It's quite a good Nazebo map. It can go to quite the late game if you are able to play safe. Another map that can go to the late game would have been the Haunted Mines, as we do see that banned out by Hungary.
All right, Bakery, what do you make of that?
Interesting bans on both teams, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
Not seeing too much rhyme or reason behind them. I guess it's just comfort bans.
Absolutely, and I have just received word that we're going to go into Infernal Shrines, and this caters towards the playstyle of Belgium with that potential Kerrigan that Teffer brought up.
The Kerrigan-Nazebo combo was what allowed them to win their first game versus Team Germany, and it was very effective. But the fact is, Hungary would have watched those games. Hungary would have done their research and potentially either draft around it or just ban out the tools.
I definitely agree, so. And what would be good countermeasures for this playstyle, which has been scouted by now?
I think ban it. Honestly, I think just ban it. Ban the Kerrigan. There's no way that's going in the first rotation. Possibly first ban the Nazebo as well, depending on how you want to play that first half of the draft.
Absolutely, and public service announcement for you guys: if you want to cheer for your favorite team, once again, you can do that by dropping a hashtag HUWin in favor of Hungary and a hashtag BEWin if you think the Belgium team has what it takes to stay alive here in this first Nexus game edition here.
So, ETC is the first ban from Hungary. They do not ban out the Nazebo, and they do not ban out the Kerrigan. They seem to be comfortable. They're accepting that this is probably going to be what they're going to have to face, and they clearly have something prepared.
Hungary already looking strong in the votes, 75%. Ooh, yes. That speaks a very clear language. Let's see if the Belgium fans are going to be able to rouse it up a little bit.
The Kasi factor coming in for Team Hungary here.
Yeah, Kasi, let's talk about one of the strongest players in the tournament and definitely the key player of this series. If he performs, then I would expect Hungary to be quite confident in this series. But he did not perform to the same level he did against Denmark when they did play against Germany, and that might be what cost them the series.
We have seen Hungary being one of those teams that are willing to also play outside the meta. We've been talking a lot about the Nazebos and the Kerrigans. We've seen Hungary, they've been bringing out Cho'Gall, for example, which has had mixed success.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. In their first game, they absolutely baited and outsmarted their opponent in the draft phase, using the Malthel to complete effect to dominate the map. But Germany, they put their preparation in and they realized, okay, let's not pick the Malthael. And that was enough to shut the Cho'Gao down.
Yeah, they used Tracer instead to really freak a lot of havoc in the meantime, while Cho'Gao was for the most part ignored altogether. Now, we see a very clear language in this draft. Belgium, they're trying to go for something standard. They do not want to give away too many clues of their drafting strategy, whereas the Dahaka is actually making it back. He's been ignored in many games right now.
It's interesting to see the Dahaka so early, because even if you do want that hero, picking it there, you probably don't need to. So this indicates they want to hide something in the draft. And as we see the Ana, are they hinting at the Cho'Gao?
On a larger map like this, it can be very risky just to the rotational abilities, but Dahaka can be the hero that can make up for that due to his very quick rotations thanks to his Brush Stalker. This is potentially a very sneaky draft. Their other tool they would normally use with it, though, Rhaegar, has been banned. Now we see if they do want to go for a Cho'Gao, it would be a solo Ana support Cho'Gao.
Yeah, that seems...
Well, probably not leaning in.
Yeah,
but
not anymore.
Again, Hungary committing to this buff the target with nano boost style, picking the cooldown.
And Rabio is a very interesting player. We talked about him a lot. Of course, he plays for Team Belgium. When he plays on a confident or on a comfortable hero, we talked about him a couple of times, like the Rhaegar, like the Uther. He shines, but we also said that he was a very emotional player who could be easily thrown off guard if things don't go so well.
Absolutely. If he's in control and he's given what he wants, he's going to have a good time. But that's not always going to be the case in a tournament like this.
Yeah. Nerves could definitely be an issue. Now, the second ban phase has begun, and slowly but surely the Belgian fans are actually waking up and rooting for their favorite players.
I think the Dahaka first pick might be throwing the Team Hungary fans off.
Yeah.
Not something we're used to seeing, where Belgium going for the standard, tried and tested PvE combination, Rhaegar and Greymane.
I think a huge amount has to do with the fact Dahaka is not running the Diva skin. And that is forcing a couple of the Hungary fans to go over to Team Belgium. However, Hungary, solid ban. They know what they're up against. They removed the Nazeebo. Kerrigan is still available, but the Nazeebo has been a go-to pick for Team Belgium.
Oh, we see Diablo making his first appearance at the Nexus Games. I personally was talking to Bakery yesterday, and I was wondering why we hadn't seen any Diablo, especially on battlegrounds that favor him. Bakery, talk us through that Diablo pick.
The thing about Diablo is that he's very one-dimensional. It's very hard for him to disengage, and his one engage combo is pretty telegraphed. So in specific situations, though, he can become extremely strong. And I think that's the situation here.
And they have so much burst follow-up right now to any kind of Diablo engage. Malfurion Roots, along with maybe Tyrande or Uther, are some of the best follow-ups to a Diablo engage. And of course, Greymane damage and even a Feral Lunge from Rhaegar can be devastating to any target that is caught.
What we also can't forget about is the fact that Diablo is probably one of the more resilient tanks when it comes to dealing with ability damage. Gul'dan so far, the only major threat coming in. Will they go for double assassins now? Because they need to almost, I feel, if they ever want to hope of taking down that Diablo.
Ariel
they don't.
And Arthas fully committed to this Gul'dan. Arthas, he can run with the... Oh, okay, that's going to make Arthas' job a little bit more difficult. I was going to say that Arthas can go with that CC reduction to try and deal with Diablo. Unfortunately, that does not work. The armor it gives him against the percentage-based damage that Malthael has.
I am definitely worried for Team Hungary here. I'm looking at it, and I'm not sure they actually have the damage to take down that front line, let alone the back line that Belgium do have. Belgium, though, they have a very scary combo. Diablo can go in, he can be the big focus target, and Malthael, he can wreak havoc in Diablo's shadow.
Absolutely, and Diablo is definitely the target that will try to lay the foundation for the Malthael to build up his damage on. And there is no anti-tank shredding. There is no percentage damage available at all for the Hungarian team.
Yeah, not one single hero. Usually we get one as just like, oh, a lesser picked talent, but no percentage damage at all, and the majority of their damage is ability-based, so Diablo's Soul Shield could be huge here.
I think so too, and I think it's safe to say that Belgium has evolved from a very one-dimensional team who always relies on the Nazeebo, and when that one was banned, they kind of looked very shaky, into a very adaptable team who really not just play the map, but also look at what could be good to counter their opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. I am liking the look of Belgium's draft a lot, and because of that, I'm predicting them to win this first game.
What about you, Tetcher?
I am also leaning towards El Diabolo and Team Belgium here, despite the chat also leaning towards a little bit of Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary still maintains that solid lead, but I think it's more because of the previous performances that we've seen by the Hungarian team. I would actually join you guys and say that the Belgium team has probably had the most solid draft all tournament long here, and if they play it well, it is very likely for them to win. Now, the Malthael is a hero that needs to be contained, otherwise he can single-handedly win games. Does Team Hungary have enough coverage to really keep him in check?
So right now, we're looking at what they have. They have Isolation, which will be valuable, and they have Horrify, and they have Sleep Dart. Now, Sleep Dart is very hard to hit. Horrify you can definitely land, but they do have Cleanse. Isolation might be the big one.
They do have Detainment Strike, but that is sort of countered by the fact that Malthael has a teleport. So it's going to be up to Ariel to potentially deny that initial application of Malthael's trait.
All right, we're going to find out which team is going to reign supreme. Is it going to Team Belgium with Diablo and Malthael, or Hungary with a quote-unquote lesser strong draft?
Well, let's see what Hungary can do with this quote-unquote lesser strong draft as they spawn on the left-hand side with Dobos on the Gul'dan, Fana on Ariel, Nuti on the Ana, the Hydra is playing on the Dahaka, and Kasi is on Arthas.
And Team Belgium is sending their warriors into the fray with Linfield on Diablo, Taluf plays that Malthael, Rabio goes on that Rhaegar, Hyza is playing the Greymane, and Taluf is on Malthael.
Starting off with the Diablo going for that Devil's Due. We've all been pointing out his talents a fair amount because it's actually been quite a while since some of you may have seen him.
Enabler plays Malfurion here, and he's going to be a very crucial member as well. Enabler, he was labeled the Nazeebo one-trick because he has very rarely played a different hero, so what can he do on that Malfurion? We're going to find out in a bit. Hyza, though, and the rest of his men, they go for a very aggressive rotation. 4 people going from mid to bottom and from bottom to mid. And already we can see that both teams are trying to mirror what the other side has to offer, and both teams have really strong wave clear early on.
But you can see here, we see the aggressive movements here by Linfield to try and keep the members of Hungary back, but getting punished for it, like you said, by the good Detainment Strike and Kasi with those consistent slows.
Yeah, and Kasi, by the way, plays the main tank this time around. He shifted roles, basically. We saw him flex in the previous games. He was on Zarya one time, I believe. He was also playing ranged assassins, and this time he decided that it was time to take things into his own hand and tank the damage for the most part.
He's going to tank. He is actually the team's potential main engage tool, and if the Haka can come in with a good drag, very aggressive jump him there by Hyza, but the Detainment Strike once again. And Fana's Detainment Strikes are giving me a lot of hope for how she's going to be able to do against that Malthael in the late game.
And I do see exactly what you did there, my friend. Because Ariel is very dependent on hope, not just in-game, but also outside of the game. But you're totally right. Fana was doing wonderful work here with those Detainment Strike, constantly keeping Diablo away, and they're really going to be dependent on it because look at the hard engage that Belgium features in this draft. Greymane, Diablo, Malthael, there could be a lot of things coming right at the backline of the Hungarian team, which they're going to need Fana for.
And we actually see Ariel. She is once again one of those really solid healers for sustain due to the fact that she can never run out of mana because there's always hope.
Tetra, did I ever tell you how much I love casting with you?
I think yesterday, but but I appreciate it every day because it keeps my morale up.
If one day you will find a ring in your mailbox, you know where it came from.
Yay! As we do see Malthael putting pressure on, and even though currently the cursed minions are a little bit in favor of Hungary, the positioning is very much in favor of Belgium as they move up to Kasi, trying to slowing everybody. The overpower, Arthas is slowing everyone. That flip really working against them here. The focus onto Diablo, but Greymane, good damage in the backline. It's currently a 2-for-1 though, in favor of Hungary.
It was a 2-for-1 trade, but overall the Belgium team is too low and too drained to really continue the fight, and Dahaka can already go back to top. He could even soak 2 lanes if he wanted to, if his Brashstalker is available, and that was not how you want to initiate a team fight if you're Diablo, if you're Team Belgium. Arthas is probably one of the few heroes, one of the least heroes you would want to throw into everybody else because the massive AoE slow value value he gets will shred your team.
And the idea of using the From the Shadows he took at level 4 to try and put Arthas even more out of position is cool and all, except Arthas is Arthas. He is immensely tanky and hard to kill in this kind of situation. So an immensely risky play by Diablo that absolutely did not go well for them.
It backfired. Hopefully, Diablo will not continue these engages. Hopefully, he will have learned from his previous sins. So, in the bottom lane, we see the Impaler camp being tackled by the Hungarian team. Arthas taking care of the lane in the meantime. Middle lane is currently not being soaked. They're definitely going to send someone over there, though, I believe. Maybe not.
No, they are just going to clear out the lane and try and put some pressure. Now they can rotate as a bigger group again. As we see Belgium taking a bit of a safer route, except for Lenfield, who is able to arrive in the lane via minion rail.
And that's something we talked about multiple times here. Beautiful overpower here, by the way, by Diablo. Flinging one of the Impalers into tower range to clear them faster, because that's basically the main purpose of the Impaler. They're not necessarily the strongest mercenaries available. However, they take a little while. Exactly. It takes a little time to get rid of them, because not only are they 2, like the Sea Giants, but 3. So that means more AoE needs to be used to destroy them.
Yep, and of course, they are, like the Sea Giants, long range. They will not be in tower range, which is like is why Diablo did that flip. Now, risky move here by Diablo, going for diabolical momentum, as opposed to that Soul Shield or even the Soul Feast for the extra regen. He is fully committed to this high crowd control style, with the diabolical momentum giving him the 1.5 second cooldown reduction on Shadow Charge and Overpower.
This is definitely an interesting choice, Tetra. I'm glad you pointed it out here, because we expected the Soul Shield to come in. The only real damage source relies on ability, and that's the Gul'dan on the side of Team Hungary. So he could have really prevented a lot of damage coming in. But as you said, having your crowd control abilities up more often can really knock away pesky targets like Arthas and Dehaka a lot more frequently.
But the fact is, he's not going to gain as much value on this talent as he would against other heroes, because Arthas is on the enemy team. He will be, on a lot of times, being the frontline tank in the same area as Arthas, who will slow his attack speed, denying a lot of that cooldown reduction.
Absolutely. The root just barely landing on Hyzine. He's getting licked as well, but he seems to be able to escape for now.
Beautiful cleanse as Dobos is out of target. Healing reduction is dropped. Dobos trying to drain to stay alive. Diablo has to tackle himself to freedom, as it's going to be Carsey this time who will fall, as does Lenfield. The difference is Lenfield has his souls. Rhaegar's pulled in. Detainment Strike focusing him down, and Dobos picks up the kill.
They just played ping pong with that Gul'dan, with that Rhaegar. Excuse me. No escape available because
range drag. Heiser is taken out.
That is some hard performance right there by that Dehaka. He was licking one after the other, the drag being the absolute doom and disaster for the Belgian team. And he gets another one.
And another one. Healing reduction, but Taluf is able to escape. Lenfield arrives back. They wanted to try and make the 3 versus 4 play, but it's not going to work, as the first Punisher is going over to Hungary.
Hydra single-handedly won Hungary the team fight there. It was just amazing to see how he kept disabling one after the other. And here we go. Level 10 is here for Team Hungary, and the Punisher is going to follow suit very quickly.
That Punisher with a level 10 push could be huge. Moonfire, on the other hand, though, for Mafurian has completed. This will help them at least clear the minions that come with this Punisher, as a minion wave will be arriving a little bit late, but it will be there.
Yeah, I like the rotations by Belgium here. They're basically saying that they're probably not going to be able to do too much in that top lane if the entirety of Team Hungary is going to push. So they're stealing mercenaries away from their opponents to really keep them occupied elsewhere. Taluf needs to be careful, though. He got caught in one of those wheezing zones. He cannot afford to do that multiple times. Keep in mind, the Punisher's going to jump soon. Will there be follow-up damage? Nope. No.
We see Hungary have retreated. They decide against pushing in any further. And instead, they were thinking about setting up a trap, but it looks like they worked out too many people were here from Belgium, and it wasn't worth the risk.
Heroic abilities now available on both sides. We don't really see any major surprises. Apocalypse on that Diablo, of course, combos off really well with the Ruse and the Twilight Beam from Malfurion. And on the other side, we see the Nano Boost. That could be very useful on the Gul'dan, as we talked earlier. And the Horrify, probably the most important heroic ability to really contain the engagement power of Team Belgium.
as Toulouse is forced to retreat due to the very heavy 3-man push. Not going to be able to survive this, but instead we see an engage onto the bot lane to try and pick up some more towers in exchange.
Yeah, definitely the right call here in my opinion. 4 people now being deployed by the Belgium team. They're trying to really counter-push and counter-attack while Team Hungary is demolishing the top lane.
It's going to be a fort for a fort, but in the meantime, Dahaka is soaking in that mid lane, and Malthael is soaking in the top lane. So overall, XP is going to be relatively equal from these pushes. Difference is Hungary's isn't over.
Exactly. They're not done just yet. They're continuing their push in the top lane. Get one tower, almost get the gate there. I think they may actually get it. So that's a big deal. Gates in Infernal Shrines are probably more important than on any other battleground because they are one of the core components that allow you to bait the Punisher over the wall. If the gates aren't there anymore, all of a sudden the pushing team has a much easier time following up on the damage.
Yep, safely defending against a Punisher on this map is a huge deal.
Very much.
But with the gate already taking some serious damage, or did it actually go down? Sorry, yes, it actually went down.
Yeah.
So Hungary going to be gaining an advantage, but it might be a while before the Punisher spawns in the top lane again, as it is just spawning in the mid lane, and the previous one was also in the top lane.
All right, both Fallen Shaman camps are marching towards each other as the Shrine is going to get activated in the middle lane. Dahaka, that is of course the big advantage of having a global hero in your team. He can just continue to deal a little bit of damage in the bottom lane, only to arrive at the nick of time next to his teammates.
Both teams even on talent here as they move it in. Detainment Strike, annoying Lenfield even more. He's currently shielded, moves in. The Apocalypse, he doesn't flip Tobos though. Here's the Horrify, ban the root onto the team of Belgium as Toulouse. He did get some decent damage out of the Tormented Souls, but it's not enough as we see the remainder of the push. Dahaka is going to tunnel ahead and cut off the escape route. Malthael goes down. Dahaka's looking for more.
And that was exactly what the Hungarian team wanted. They basically won this fight 4 versus 5 Thatcher. Dahaka didn't use the Brush Dog, he instead used this tiny Waddle Axe to get there in time, and even that was enough. He didn't even have to participate because there was so much disengage available. The Arthur Slow, the Horrify used perfectly in synchrony, the Crystal Aegis. All the tools just snapped and made this fight a wonderful one for Team Hungary.
A beautiful route by Arthas as well to put everyone together. Even though they were feared, there was nothing they could do. And Hungary are looking very strong in this matchup.
We were so worried about them when we saw that draft, but the defensive tool they've got available, they're using so well, and it is incredible to see how through sheer mechanics and skill, they turn this game with a quote-unquote weaker draft.
And a lot of this is also going to be to do with the fact that Diablo was not able to land that overpower. We saw the Gul'dan getting engaged upon, but then he didn't land in the Apocalypse, so he got that Horrify off.
And there's no cleanse available, so there is no disengage against the crowd control that Diablo has to offer. It's just that, Aegis. Yeah, just the Aegis. It needs to land. Diablo needs to land that combo, and the way you want to do it, guys, is you want to pop the Apocalypse first, then you charge it, then you flip the target into the demonic circle.
Or there is the other option of, in some cases, you can force the Aegis out early, but Belgium so far have shown to be lacking the tools to do so.
I'm going to be honest here. I think Fauna on that Ariel is probably playing the best Ariel in the tournament thus far.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, his Detainment Strike's on point. The Crystal Aegis is really saving the targets he wants to save, and the healing output overall is just marvelous.
With the help of Anna as well, it's just working. Simple as that. As we do see Hungary grabbing more mercenaries on the map. Dahaka still split soaking for his team. Malthael being forced to move up to the top lane to make sure that there is some counter-soak happening.
Hydra also doing such a wonderful job at keeping the lane relatively safe here against a favorite matchup. Toulouse on that Malthael, and even now being joined by 2 allies, there's nothing a Dahaka can normally do against it, but that tongue is so dangerous. The towers are helping out as well.
Hydra taking a lot of damage, healing reduction, and go for the throat will pick up a kill, but that's still 8 kills to 3 in favor of Belgium, but it moves, in favor of Hungary, but it moves Belgium closer to that level 16.
That was a good death, actually, by Dahaka. He bought a lot of time, and he occupied 3 enemy heroes, and guess what his allies did? They destroyed a fort elsewhere. So they even ended up getting more value by letting Dahaka die than saving him. Well, the save would have been icing on the cake, but...
Yeah, the problem is, though, Dahaka has global, and he will be back just before this shrine is available. So his team, they're going to be on even talent, and it will still be a 5v5.
And this is now a really good moment for Hungary to maybe set a trap here. 16 is here, but now it is also for Belgium. And all of a sudden, they need to be a little bit more careful. The route is good. The sleep is even better. Diablo, Lenfield, he's trying to make a play, but this time he's a little bit more careful.
Yeah, not going to put his team at risk again by delivering Arthas onto them. They're looking out for Dahaka. Right now, Dahaka has run to top lane so that he can tunnel down if he is required to. It is 8 cursed minions to 11, currently in favor of Belgium. But how long can they keep control of this area as Dahaka begins to tunnel in?
The army of the dead is helping Arthas to stay alive. Carsey keeping everybody occupied. A nice horrify there as well. There's so much anti-healing. The Apocalypse is huge.
The Apocalypse is really good as they're focusing onto it, but down goes Diablo. The main tank as Heiser is trying to do anything, but they can't do it. The damage numbers are not enough from Team Belgium as Heiser gets taken out as well.
Carsey and Hydra, that is the mean, lean dream team in the front line there. They're doing such a good job at keeping everybody alive and at the same time bring the aggression over and take one Belgium hero out after the other.
As we do see the Punisher spawning in for Team Hungary yet again. And they're going to be able to pressure this bottom lane where, guess what? There's no more fort as they took it earlier.
Exactly. Dahaka was actually busy destroying defense lines previously. So this is now a golden opportunity for the Hungarian team to maybe follow up on the damage, follow up on that John Cena smash provided by the Punisher. We're going to wait for that one to go down. Everybody is here except for Dahaka. He's going to try to deal a little bit more damage. There it goes. The follow-up damage is good, and it looks like Diablo is no more. That was too easy.
You've got to be wondering whether Soul Shield could have been saving him in these situations.
Absolutely.
At this point. You've got to. We will never know. But a situation of it's in my brain constantly as the Punisher jumps in again. Root on Rhaegar. He gets cleansed, but the poison, the anti-healing, he will make it into base though.
Okay, that was a good save on the Greyman. If he had died, the game would have been over. As it is, they can't defend. A one-man Horrify. Taluf is isolated right now. Are they going for the core?
Tormented Souls in 2, but the core is dropping. They're moving in to have the last fight potentially of the game. Twilight Dream is gorgeous, but Dahaka picks up yet another kill. Nuti is keeping everyone alive. Core of 44% as finally Belgium will drive back Hungary, but they really need some more kills to make this work.
Taluf is on the hunt. Mercilessly easy, going to chase down every single hero from the Hungarian team. No bushes nearby for Dahaka to get movement speed on. Hunuti is about to fall as well. Lenfield finally getting the kills.
Lenfield finally getting his combo off, picking up yet another kill, and that was their fact is their core still at 44%, but they survived, and saving the Greymane was such a huge deal in this in that core attempt.
Absolutely. If he had fallen victim to Gul'dan's corruption, everything could have been over for the Belgian team. For now, though, they're still not out of it. They were able to stabilize for now, but still, they're 1.5 levels behind their opponents.
But now they have time, because 20 is available for Hungary, and 3 members are dead. And that's a huge deal, because Belgium, they're going to be able to get this fort. They might be able to get top 4, and that's big chunks of XP to move themselves towards 20, and that could be the game changer.
Definitely true, Tetcher, and there's still 10 seconds until all those heroes that Hungary just lost are coming back. One of them being Dahaka. That means, of course, the Global will help him to reach his allies more in time. However, look at the Belgium team. They're playing it so well. They're playing it calm and collected. It's going for the mercenaries. They realize they need a little bit more time to balance out the XP gap.
As Taluf grabs his own team's mercenaries. Next objective is going to be in the top lane. We already know that that top wall is down for Team Belgium, thanks to that push from Hungary earlier, as Hungary begin to take position, because they have 20 still, and Belgium are still trying to soak it, so they will have the beginning position.
It all comes down to Dahaka's timing now in the Global. He really needs to be there to help his allies out in time. Dobas as well needs to be careful. Diablo could flank from any given moment now.
20 is now available for both teams. Lord of Terror to keep Lenfield alive. That's going to be a big deal. That percentage damage will help him out a bit here. Hunter's Blunderbuss, the teleporting Twilight Dream, the Astral Communion, and the Death Curtain will be great for zoning by this Malthael. You can see it here. So much damage going in. Good Ice Block by Enabler. Apocalypse. Here comes the Communion. Everyone, as we see Belgium pushing through. Carsey standing in the depth. Curtain takes so much damage. New team will keep him alive, but that's 3 members getting wiped by Team Belgium.
Team Belgium just found themselves in a wonderland, the Diablo Wonderland, if you will. That was a choke point, a really close position. The Apocalypse rained down, a beautiful Astral Communion here by Malfrian. That was the MVP play. All that Wombush Mumbo landed perfectly.
And he would not have been able to do that if he hadn't ice blocked the Dehaka engage attempt on him. Beautiful play overall. Nice sleep dart to at least slow this down. But beautiful play by Enabler, giving his team the chance to try and end the game here as the Punisher is available. The keep is down. This could be the game-winning push, Kendrick.
This could be it indeed. The Punisher is marching slowly but ever so steadily. Is he going to approach the base of Hungary? And they need all of their team members back. Ideally, they're going to distract the Punisher into the middle keep. That's the best way to keep him distracted, to keep him damaged as much as possible, and they need to spread themselves out here as well. Arthas, Karsi's trying to do exactly that. The Icebound Fortitude has been popped, and here we go. Punisher smash, but unfortunately the wrong building.
Punisher is distracted, but it's moving onto the core now. He's taking some damage. The Death Curtain splitting the team a bit here. Drag onto Malfurion. It's the 5v5 for the game. Horrify lands on 2 members. The silence, the corruption there, doing
Rhaegar's
so
down.
much damage. Rhaegar,
they're losing everybody.
Still alive. Everyone is going down. Greymane is too low to join in with this. It's just Diablo on the core, but he can't do it alone.
No, he can't do it alone. He's going to fall as well. 100 soul stones.
Greymane may die too.
Yeah, Greymane may die too.
He dies, that's it.
He's going to get him. Karsi's going to get the Greymane as well. Diablo is the only survivor. No more soul stones left though. He's going to be very squishy. Hydra immediately pulled the switch. He's going to attack you, and he's going to lick a weak Diablo.
The Diablo taking some damage. Yabba's right now just tanking the minions, preventing the catapult, and buying his team some time. But the catapults are moving closer. Lenfield is taking so much damage, getting dragged back as the rest of Hungary are arriving. Lenfield is so squishy without those
4 catapults.
And we do see 4 catapults and 4 members of Team Hungary onto the core, and that is GG. But that was by no means easy for Team Hungary.
The hold was real. Team Hungary defended that one marvelously. Picture perfect display here of their defense here. That was so well played. It looked good for the Belgium team. They could smell the victory. It was so close, but thanks to that perfect distraction on the Punisher, Team Hungary just said no.
Yeah, such a close game, and we saw the strength of Belgium's composition, but as we're going to see in my highlight clips, Belgium needed the Diablo combo to work, and they needed to do a lot of work from it. As we go into the first one, we see that Diablo wants to engage, but the hackers predicted this. He's already done, and they chuck Karsi on the Arthas into the middle of the team, and that's basically GG, I'm afraid. I feel like I've seen this exact scenario before. Arthas hitting 4 people with that frozen waste, absolutely demolishing Belgium, and basically giving Hungary that early game lead.
Fantastic performance here by the Hungarian team, and I do want to highlight the Dehaka. The number of tongues that were landed on that drag was just astonishing.
Yeah, I don't know if you have it, the one where he just got 3 kills in a row with it.
I don't think I do.
Oh, well.
But we are going to see my second replay is Diablo's APOC disaster, I'm afraid. So as we play it forward, we're going to see Diablo. He wants to engage. It's the same story again. He knows he has to engage. So he pops the APOC, he misses the Eon cooldown, and then he casts the Eon Anna, which saves her and gets her out of the team fight. Now, Enabler gets an awesome Twilight view in the backline, but it's just not enough. The whole team is going down, and that's another fight. But Belgium, they messed up their combo, and they need that to work if they want to win this game.
Even with the anti-healed Ancestral, Karsi was still able to tank through that, and they were still able to take that fight.
Now, I'm afraid I do not have a replay of it, but near the end of the game, it's the 20 versus 20 team fight on top lane. It's the ice block on the tongue from Enabler, and there is the huge Astral Communion to blink in and get, what was it, a 4-man silence?
He got everyone. That was 5.
5-man silence.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane play by Enabler, and almost won them the game.
But in the end, it was barely enough here, and Tetra and I, we had a little bit of a discussion going on during the Cast Bakery why Diablo ended up picking Diabolical Momentum instead of the Soul Shield. Do you think that would have made any difference?
I mean, it is Belgium, and we do know they are known for their builds. But I do think in this case, it was a fine choice, and I don't think the Spell Shield was impactful.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in for one hell of a series. If it continues to go on like that, the next map